how we made it over. Tell me how we got over. Lord, Lord, Lord. We had a mighty hard time coming on over. You know my soul. Look back and wonder, how did I make it over? Well, soon as I could see Jesus, the man that died for me, the man that led and suffered, you know he had no Calvary. The God thank him for high party. The God thank God for high party. Thank God for high kept me. Oh, I'm gonna thank him for never left me. And I'm gonna thank him for whole time religion. And I'm gonna thank God for giving me a vision. And the God heaven and fire. Yeah, I got to come. Never been tired. You know I'm going down. Somebody hold on. Everything. Glory, hallelujah. Lord, thank you. Thank you for me. Lord, God be so good to me.
No people are more keenly aware of the risk of disenfranchisement than those who've suffered from it. There's a knee upon the neck of democracy, and our nation can only live so long.
Intro.
They say life is what you make it. I'm a legend in the making. I know just what I'm made of. They say life is what you make it, yeah. But I'm a legend in the making, yeah. I know just what I'm made of.
Woo! Denise, were you able to see that?
I sure was.
We went back a little bit. Mike, do me a favor. Put me and Denise on the side. Can we hear a little bit of what Dr. Martin Luther King's son said? Can we hear that last little part?
Must be exercised by more than rhetoric and more than marching. The simple challenge before us is that everyone can cast a ballot, and everyone who can must cast a ballot. And that ballot that is cast must be counted. And the result must be transparent and known to the whole world. And so today, I can call on everyone with the means to drive people to the polls, to make a plan for yourself, for your family and your neighbor, for those organizations and companies that care about democracy. I call on you today to offer your resources and your capacity. Because we're willing to die for the right to vote, we can work for the right to vote. And I will continue to call on you to act in the coming days. So if you're looking for a savior, get up and find a mirror. We must become the heroes of the history we are making.
All right. Pretty good. So if you're looking for a savior, get up and find a mirror. I'm just saying is in the building. Really quick, it's Dionne Johnson. I'm hosting on a serious week. It's a serious week. We are celebrating today the March on Washington. First one, Dr. Martin Luther King, 1963. Now we flash back in 2020. My wonderful guest, yeah, I do call on this woman. I'm hoping today that she really brought the no holds barred. You know, there's a side of it we have where there's no holds barred. I mean, I'm going to say everything I need to say. And that's Denise Means Harris. I want to thank her again for coming on. Y'all are going to be seeing her quite a bit because I need her to help me help you walk through the rest of these 60-some days before we kick this man out of office. So basically, Denise, I'm really going to recap some things First, let's talk about what you just saw.
Oh, well, you know how circular that Dr. King spoke of a dream, and his son is standing in his footsteps, you know, continuing to pursue and solidify what is so needed to be said. When I was watching Mahalia, I got a little teary-eyed because I can remember as a little girl, every time she came on the Ed Sullivan show, and I was a very little girl, but I remember her. And she'd come on the Ed Sullivan show, and my grandmother would, everything had to stop. Don't talk to her. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Can I come back?
You there? It's probably a phone call or something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, my grandmother would stop everything, and we'd all have to sit down and watch Mahalia. And it reminded me of my grandmother's joy of Mahalia and her beautiful voice. And seeing that clip of, you know, Sidney Poitier and all the greats of that time coming, you know, to say, we're doing this, you know, and it was planting the flag of determination to go forward. And go forward we did. And now we must plant the flag again. And we're planting it further ahead than where we were before. I'm so proud. I'm so proud today. I'm proud of the NBA. I'm proud of the baseball players. I'm proud, you know, because that shows you, because back then, Black sports players, they had to be quiet because they were the first and their position was fragile and they were taking on discrimination and segregation. But now, my son just got finished telling me a story about how, you know, LeBron called Obama and said, what should we do? How do we play this? And Obama advised those basketball players, this is how you need to play it. And he gave them a little bit of information, just enough that they could run with it and make some calls and get some real considerations back in order for them to go back on that basketball court. So it was not an empty gesture. They made demands that got met. And I'm very proud of them today.
I was surprised yesterday when it first took place. Mm-hmm. And when I really first found out that Milwaukee Bucks wasn't going to play, and I literally said to someone, I said, well, we all know with COVID we stuck in. I said to my wife, I said, you know, the other teams are going to follow suit. And I said, you know, I think that the baseball teams and other teams will follow suit as well. The other players will follow suit of other teams for basketball. But I said, you know what? There are going to be other sports. Baseball. She said, no, I don't think. I said, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, because it's time.
Yes.
It's time. You feel the energy of what's going on. Now, I need you because I know you did what I did. Foolishly, we watched the Republican convention. But before we do this, we're going to talk about Sister Kamala shortly, because she did something I thought was a chess, not checker move. Came out on the same day that Donald Trump was to do his speech for the, you know, it being the end of the Republican shenanigans. But I admired what she did. She called him out. And shockingly, I thought he was going to take the bait.
Oh, no, he's terrified of her. He's terrified of Kamala because everything he threw didn't stick. He's trying to throw stuff at Joe and it's not sticking. He tried Sleepy Joe. He tried all his other Socialist Joe. Nothing's sticking.
Joe.
Nothing's sticking. So I was very proud of Kamala, but Joe came out yesterday as well. Mm-hmm. And so what I like is, you know, I think I talked about it on this show before, that You need junkyard dogs. You need,
Yes.
oh, you want to fight? Let's fight. So they're fighting. They're fighting. They're not acting like it's theirs yet. They're not acting like it's in the bag. And that's good because it's not. It's not theirs yet, and it's not in the bag. I mean, the Democratic convention was like, euphoria for us and a reminder of what we aspire as a country to be about. And it kind of made us feel like, well, who could go through watching that and not want these people to lead our country?
Especially after the Republican. I watched this. I need your help with this. I do. I'm not just saying it. I watched the Republican convention because you really did say something that struck home. Because I am a person of, I keep my friends close and my enemies closer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I said, I'm going to stomach it. Even if bits and pieces, but I really did stomach it better than I thought I could. And my whole thing, though, is everything that it was done during that convention was illegal almost. Covering.
They laugh about stuff like that. They don't care about the law because no one holds them accountable. Who's the sheriff? Barr. Attorney General Barr. They laugh about things like the Hatch Act. They laugh about that. Doesn't matter to them.
Well, will they ever pay?
Will they what?
Will they ever pay?
No. But that's not the point. How they're going to pay is when we vote their asses out of office. Now, I promised myself I wasn't going to cuss on this show.
I wanted you to, too. I'm hoping you do.
But the thing, I mean, the biggest takeaway was that it was a manufactured con job. I mean, he hired the same people that produced Celebrity Apprentice. That's who put this together. It was a big con job. I suffered.
Yeah.
The entire 70 minutes of Trump's speech last night. As much as I wanted to turn it off because it was so overwhelmingly boring and uninspiring and flat.
He didn't even know how to show his grandson love at the
He
end.
couldn't stand up straight the entire speech, by the way. While he's always talking about Joe, he was on tilt.
Yeah.
Speech. And they fact checked him 20 lies in 70 minutes. Do the math. That's like a lie every 2 to 3 minutes.
Wow. But they did that. They fact checked him.
They fact checked him. But what I'm saying is that the entire 4 days were a con job. Come to find out, it was on the news today. Those people who were being sworn in, Americans, they didn't know he was coming. He just walked in on it. And a couple of them were outraged because they are not Trump supporters. They're not even going to vote for him.
Wow.
They feel like they were used because that's who he is. He will use anybody under any conditions to advance his own agenda. And his agenda is Donald Trump.
I mean, the lady that spoke yesterday, the African-American lady, she was very, and I noticed that she chose her words.
The one who got out of jail?
Yeah. I noticed that she was still giving more credit to God, but saying that, yes, he did let me out. But I'm going to tell you something. He held something over her because to me, it was kind of dirty. It was some foul play because today he pardoned her.
Gave her a full pardon today. Look, you know what? I don't even care. I don't care. I mean, as Black people, we understand. You do what you got to do. And she wanted to do what you need to do for her family. But she will not be appearing at his rallies. She won't be doing that, And I'm sure it's going to be all right. And I'm happy she's out of jail. And I'm happy she's with her family, But she wouldn't be out if that Kardashian chick hadn't brought her to his attention. He did that that's the woman who Kanye's wife.
Oh, brought to her attention. Brought to his attention.
To let out.
Okay, and they probably sold him on You Baby. And Donald Trump doesn't do anything for anybody that ain't gonna come back and he gets something out of it.
Well, of course.
Without a doubt.
But the thing is, the whole The whole 4 days was, you know, the ice cream on the cake was that boy going to kill people. I mean, he had all those people coming out fostering anger, fear, and resentment of people who don't think like them. Period.
I know, and because I know this morning I listened to an article on my phone, and I'm mad because I really wanted that I heard because this was a young lady and everything. I'll say yes, she is white, but she worked for him recently. Recently, no longer works there, but she really put the nail in the coffin in saying he was instrumental in this white supremacy and every death that's happening now. He's played a role. She sit there, she said, because she was in the mix with them. Literally, she said I was there. This is why I'm out. I'm out of it because she watched each step that he did, everything that.
The thing is that doesn't matter. I mean, it's not a secret. When he announced his candidacy, he announced his white supremacy.
He did.
So it's no secret that he's a white supremacist. There's nothing left to be said about him. There are no one thing his daughter and wife both said was there's no secrets about who he is as a person. And
I think they meant it too.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like he thinking they complimenting him, but they just telling the truth. Like you just gonna be you.
Like he said, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So, you know, there's no one who's going to be swayed by that to not vote for him. There are people who are being swayed because of the way coronavirus was handled.
Mm-hmm. Which Kamala called out, and I love that yesterday. She had attorney facts.
Beat that drum all day because coronavirus don't know race. It's going to kill whoever it can get to. And already, as you know, 2 people who attended the North Carolina convention for him have come down with coronavirus. 2 of the attendees and 2 of the staffers. So 4 people out of the 300. And now you just got to see, based on contacts, how many people they infect.
And which one was that? Not the one that
So in North Carolina, he had them gather at the convention at a convention center.
But was that the one that what's the name was that died? The congressman, I mean the man that owned the pizza, the Godfather Pizza.
No. He's from Chicago.
Okay, so what convention was he at? Remember, he was at a convention with Trump.
He was the one in Tulsa.
Okay, because I know
this was Trump wanted a big to-do for the nominating. So he gathered all the state delegates in one room to nominate him.
Well, he had 2,000 last night, Denise.
Oh, it's more than that.
Yeah, because when they counted, it may have been more, but I know they said, I know I heard 2,000. I like to fail. I said, whoa.
Wait, let me correct myself. They put down 2,000 chairs. They didn't fill them. They removed those that they did not fill, and they were guessing it was about 1,500.
Okay, good. But I still say too many for a grandmother that just got out of jail, survived all of this. She didn't have a mask on. She was sitting right there in the center of all of them. And I pray to God she doesn't go home. This is what they also were saying on the news. They pray to God she doesn't go home and get sick trying to show her gratitude to him.
Well, the people who would be in close proximity to him, they tested them and tried to keep them secure. And then it's all the other people who came. There were first responders in the audience. There were military families in the audience. There were, people who get invited.
You know what? My thing about this is what we got to make sure we do is make sure people understand how important it is to vote, because these people that are following Donald Trump are diehard to death. Diehard to death and silly, because you see on Facebook some of the things like I'm gonna call it out. And there's one guy that was on Facebook that said, I think it was him, it was a male or a female, but they said that Obama was scared to run against Trump. And that's why he bowed out.
Well,
You're so damn dumb.
he can't do more than 2 terms.
You don't know that there's a 2-term limit for presidency. And then please let me finish. I'm gonna lose my train of thought. I want you to jump on me with this. I don't mind, Denise, if you and I doing something and we're working as we have before, and you tell me follow my lead on this, trust me. You have proven time and time again you are trustworthy, intellectually, mentally. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've never followed someone that had no damn sense. And I'm saying this to the people that are following Trump. Most of Trump's supporters are uneducated. A lot of them are. And I stand on that. I don't give a damn. Fact check me. I'm from the South. And I'm not calling Southern people dumb, because our Black people had to get our education because we had to get out, because you were pushing us out because of things like what's going on now here in Wisconsin and all these other areas have been going on all the time down there. But my point is, how I wouldn't even want to be associated with those people with that type of non-intellectual knowledge. Same thing with Obamacare. Oh, fight it, cut Obamacare, cut it. Then when it happens, what? The affordable health care was Obamacare? Go ahead, Denise.
There's always been this stream of anti-intellectualism in this country. There's always been that stream. And nothing is more upsetting than educated, articulate Black people who know more than you. So it is true that a lack of a seeking mind will leave you susceptible to be influenced by elements that give you a reason to feel superior. So I know what, let's go get a couple of dozen guns. I got a big gun. That makes me stronger and smarter and more intimidating than, any Black man walking down the street or running through the park. So there's not only a lack of information, because the truth is, you don't need a college degree to be intelligent nowadays.
No.
You only need a seeking mind, a willingness to read.
Yeah, just to read.
To read and to get input of more than one point of view. But, a lot of these people get locked into their mindset and the mindset of their circle, that even when they know better, to take a stand for the better will get them rejected from their circle. That circle can be their family, their town, their church, etc. But I believe when you talk about voting, we don't need anyone to vote other than the people who are already registered to vote. If all the registered Democrats came out and voted, it would be a tsunami of an election. It would be a tsunami of a win. So I've been to all these marches since he's been elected. And every march I go to, it does my heart good. I see these young people out with their clipboards, registering people, but that's not enough. Once you get them registered, they got to vote. So we need follow-up. We need to, be talking to people and not assume that they're smart, so they're going to vote. Because whereas the uneducated may be voting for the wrong guy, you got a lot of people who are too smart for their own good, and they've decided not to vote because ain't nothing going to change because they figured that out. So it's not just the uneducated. I'm not interested in trying to fix them. I'm not interested in trying to change their minds. I'm interested in those who put pen to paper and registered as a Democrat, making sure I get them to the polls. He's already lost the independents. All the polling says he's lost the independents. So now we just got to make sure we show up. Millions and millions of young people are becoming 18 in time to vote in this election. We need to be making sure we're reaching out to them and talking to them and making sure they go and get registered and vote. That's what we have the people to win, but can we get them to the polls? What's the plan?
I mean, that's the main thing we just saw Martin Luther King's son just say. And I think he is the junior, right? That's Martin Luther King Jr. right there. And he was saying, help, take the older people in the jobs if you know, support. And as he was saying, you're the one. We're the ones, you know, that can be. And today when I looked out in DC, as far as I could see, I saw nothing but people. And the first thing that crossed my mind is that's the way I need to see it on voting day. You know what I mean? Where you can't even see if you helicoptered above and flew above and looked down. I just want to see a sea of people at every voting poll it is. You understand what I'm saying? Like she was saying, take a lunch bag, take breakfast, dinner if you have to.
Well, you know, and I think that our community of progressive thinkers are energized enough. I believe we're going to show up. But I believe strongly we cannot relax. Polling wise, Biden had been ahead of Trump in Michigan, and now they're even. So we can't relax.
No.
Keep talking, and we have to not assume that people are registered and not assume that they're going to vote.
Get registered. Go vote. And that's since you spoke on voting, and we know that people can get complacent or people feel like, because see, some people still really believe, just like we did when we thought that Hillary could beat it. Now, with everything we're seeing, I don't want any of you to be thinking, okay, everybody see everything this food and done, they gonna vote. Because you'll tell yourself this too now. Because you're saying, okay, I know for sure I ain't got to get out in COVID because everybody see. No. The only way you know for sure is each and every one of you know that you go out and you go vote. But me and Denise we did a show last week. And that show was like vote. The title of that show was Vote Like the Democratic National Convention, Vote Like Your Life Depended on It. I want to first say thank you because the show has probably around 3,000 views now. So I want to say thank you. All over the United States. I want to say thank you. But the thing that shocked me was 200 and some that responded, and probably 180, 190 comments. But through those comments, I saw so much hate, so much dismay, so many words. I need my tech guy. We want to call some stuff out. Mike, me and Denise want to have a little fun. We want to twist it up a little bit and have a little fun with the people so they don't think we just dull sitting here talking politics, which is never dull when it's about your life. But we're going to kind of spice it up a little. Can I do that, Mike? And this is called, I'm just saying, call out. Now, I got Denise right here on the side where she can see, so she'll know I'm not just talking and y'all won't either. Mike, show the people how many comments did we have at first. You know, and Mike and I both were truly amazed. Again, thank you guys for showing support to me. Keep showing that support. The show, 189 comments, Denise. You see that? 234 reactions. Do you see them frowning up face and stuff? You know what I mean? We had some that said no Donald Trump. And people speaking out for me, you and Cindy, and people coming in talking and everything. So that was a fun part. Those were the good people. Then we had some people that decided that they wanted to come in, and we go to the newest ones because they still clapping back. They still clapping. And we had one guy, David Smith. I said we could find David. We had Donnie Jones first. Me and Mike at first dealt with Donnie. He called it evil demons and Satan.
Who?
Donnie did. Let's look at it. We're gonna go with David first. David. So we'll show you Donnie if you want to see it. But this is David Smith's page, Denise. I wanted to see David Smith's page. Now this David Smith, we're gonna tell you what David lived. We're gonna tell you what state because he's on Facebook. He's already known. I'm not telling nothing he ain't already put up there. And he came on my show. I thank him. I thank you, David. You came on and everything, but David is saying free Kyle Rittenhouse. Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then you got Daniel Burt saying, according to Illinois, he can have a firearm if parents agree and he gets a license. Okay. And then they got people that going against and say, yeah, he's a murderer with malice. You get what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Now, if I'm misunderstanding the way you got this, David, I can't see how, because Mike got something else he want to show that you posted. Because see, you're posting stuff, and this is why I want people to understand. Don't sit back thinking it's okay. Because go back to David, because it was something he had where he had a black guy out there. Remember, Mike, with him. Click back on David Smith. He remember on his page, he had a black guy on there, and he was saying, what we're going to do about these monkeys. And if he ain't the one saying it, that's fine. I ain't trying to show about the children, nothing negative. I just want to show comments because you commented on my page. Thank you very much. But there was a part somewhere in his page where he had a black guy that was in trouble being arrested. And he said, what are we going to do about these monkeys? So my thought is, and my understanding, what I'm trying to want people to understand is there's so many Davids out here. You understand what I mean? There are so many Davids that is unbelievable. You understand? And the comments and things like right here, he's saying free Kyle. Go down, I think it's a little bit further when we saw the other thing he was talking about. And I said, Mike, what? Yes, after this, right here. Be careful out there. These animals, let me take it back. These animals are everywhere. Black man yell Black Lives Matter while allegedly stabbing white man. He's facing hate crime. That's what they're trying to say. We don't even know if he's a Black Lives Matter member at all or nothing. He just said Black Lives Matter, but we all animals. Now,
I'm noticing over there on the left where it said he had a child in 1994. Yet there are no pictures of his child.
Yeah.
Well, I just find it interesting.
Yeah, because I know what you tell me about it. Racism was almost dead in America until Obama.
Yeah, not true.
And I came back with his name was Jack Frosted. I said, then what? Blacklash 45 is the source of this awakening of the beast. But main thing is, like I said, then you have them come, just go away, Michelle. You know what I mean? Like Trump 2020. We go on and on. Nobody cares about Mr. Obama. You know what I mean? I'm for Donald Trump. You know what I mean? The ladies, it is just saying, you have some people that I will beat Donald Reagan this September. You can take that to the post office. But the thing about it for me is how, even Cindy was a guest. We had Cindy Davis as a guest. She said, I can't believe so much hate. So much negativity. And I'm like, look at this. They just look how they X Michelle Obama's picture out. They had one little boy throwing up because now they're watching it, but they're watching it. But it's like we would say with the RNC, they said, oh, this makes me throw up. Well, Donald Trump gives you a reason to throw up. When you have a man, how many lies did you say he told in the time frame he was talking to Denise?
20 lies in 70 minutes. That's
ridiculous. Look at it. I mean, that's ridiculous. Now we got all of these posts, all these people reaching out to me.
I honestly don't think David Smith is a real person. I honestly believe David Smith is a Russian troll. I don't believe it. I looked at it and it's like, they're there to attract a certain mentality, and then they start feeding them garbage.
So they'll go on the page and start stuff, and then hope they can pull them over to their side and see who's really interested.
That's how they convert.
Well, Putin, you need to get them off my page.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna do is talk crazy and read them out and keep on pushing. So you wasting your time because I'm not really gonna engage too in depth with you. I make one quick statement, make you feel as stupid as you sound, and I keep it pushing. And you'll be proud of it because on a lot of them you hear me say silly season. You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's still just like I said, still do not sleep on this.
Hashtag silly season.
Hashtag silly season. Silly ass season, because she don't want to curse.
And the more they feel alienated, the more they go on Facebook and sit up there all night trying to find kindred spirits. You know, this kid. Are we ready to talk about this kid?
We're going to talk about the kid now, but I want you to tell me what your thought was about the actual shooting. When you heard about it, because I want to talk about what happened in Kenosha with Jacob Black and being shot 7 times.
For a few days, you know, it happened Sunday, and every time the video came up on my social media feed, I sped past it. I just couldn't bring myself to look because I knew the impact it was going to have on me emotionally. And I finally looked at it 2 days ago. And you know what it made me think of? Anytime as a country we've gone to war, you know, we called the Vietnamese gooks, we called the Chinese and Koreans chinks, we call Germans krauts. We come up with these names to dehumanize them so that we can survive the inhumanity and the murder. And when I saw this policeman holding the shirt and just shooting like he had lost his mind.
His damn mind.
I felt like he was in a rage that he didn't, it was no longer a human being there to him. It was some kind of animal he needed to take down, who had defied him, who had the nerve to defy him and walk away. And he didn't care if a bullet, that dude could have killed one of his kids. You think there's marching and carrying on now. If he had, why isn't he arrested? I still don't get that.
That's what I'm telling you. They still haven't charged. I want you to do something for me, because a young lady that was on Facebook with me that comes into my I'm Just Saying page at IGS Nation was talking about that, but was also talking about how fed up she was, but she had no idea who to vote for, why to vote, what to do, up and down that ticket. She said, I just don't know. Just you know, Dionne, just what do I do? What do I do? What do we do? Because what's going to fix this? What's going? And so my thing was, I said, no, I'm going to have Denise on. I said, because I started telling her about the down ballot tickets and making sure, because what we want to do is make sure people understand something too. Normally when this happens, when we say down ballot, how you control like your police department, we got to look at who appoints like your sheriffs and you know what I mean? Who does these things? And really the reason we are saying 45 ignited it is only because when you take leadership and of the highest office and he speaks something like make America great again, or if they loot shoot, which is definitely what the young guy, you know, really what Kyle repeated, and what you saw pictures of Kyle at a Trump rally. So my thing about this is you're influencing our young children in the wrong way, but not looking at the parents, but still, you still don't know who else you are influencing. And this is the thing when Michelle said she wasn't going to bite her tongue anymore. Donald Trump is not qualified for this job. But my point is we say him because he is still using words, and because we know for a fact, due to the reporting of, help me out, of Southern Poverty Lawson, whose facts are accurate, that since he has been in office, the hate crime rate has went up 35% and is still rising. So amongst COVID that we're already fighting, and as they are telling you, you cannot beat this pandemic. You can't tweet it away. We got to deal with it. We got to deal with this. And he's still not even acknowledging it. Not to mention this that's happening. You have two things going on you're not fixing. But my thing about it is, how do we What do you tell a young person? Because you have Wayne there, who is your young son that just graduated from college. And when he said, Mom, even though I already know he on top of it, because I know who you are. But let's just say that, he brought a friend over that wasn't doing what you and what you and your husband have been putting in Wayne. How would you guide them? What would you say to them?
The survival of our people for over 400 years and our strength has been we never give up the fight and we never give up hope. And yes, the steps are painfully incremental, but they're always forward march. And they are. I mean, look at us.
Yeah.
Look where we are. Look what we're doing. And yes, we are not in a post-racial society yet. But the thing to understand is that that's the whole point of what ill-intended people, that's the whole point of their agenda, to make you want to say, I throw up my hands. It makes no difference. I'm sitting it out. I'm not going to waste my time trying to create change. Then they win. Giving up and disengaging doesn't mean that the good guys win. It means the bad guys win. So giving up and not engaging is a luxury that, quite frankly, you don't have.
You said it.
You don't have the luxury to sit it out. Yes, this is America. You don't have to participate. But when we win, you participate in the fruits of that labor. So why not be a part of the movement to go forward instead of backward? Or as Joe Biden said, be an ally of the ally of the light and not the darkness. Trump tried to paraphrase on that last night. I almost lost my mind. But so please understand, if you acquiesce to the darkness, they won. They won. And everyone who preceded you that died so you could have the right to say, I don't want to play, you just let them down. It does make a difference. It does make a difference if you participate. But I think we have finally become sophisticated enough to realize we have to participate all the time. We can't give up. We can't walk away from the process. We can't put a decent person in the White House and feel like the battle is over. When it comes to the police, we got to bust on these unions.
Yeah.
Unions is what is making a chokehold on reforming any local police forces. So we got to bust out. The good news is, for the first time, the police are at like a 38% approval rating. They've always been 50% and higher. And that's nationwide. Nationwide, people are beginning to understand this unchecked power to kill is no longer acceptable. So we have to take on the stranglehold the police unions have they're up in Seattle. They were getting ready to do some real reform, and then they went to the police unions because they realized they're the ones who are managing the whole. They got such a large part of the budget that unless the union was willing to give up some of their agreements in the contract, they can't get reformed. Then I said, let them go on strike. Get the hell out.
Yeah.
Deal with it. We'll deal with the consequences. Because I tell you this, all those weeks we were in the streets doing Black Lives Matter, you didn't hear about a lot of crime. Except at night when those white supremacists were breaking into the stores and everything, trying to put it on us.
That's what they were doing. They even had pictures of them. We went on home. Because they letting them know a lot of the Black Lives Matters are kind of young anyway. They're curfewed. This is stuff I didn't even really think about. And a lot of them have that sense of they want this to work. The Black Lives Matter. They want it to be a success and be for years and years to come into the future. In order for that to happen, they can't steer wrong and get a bad name. They're about peaceful protesting, a peaceful voice, but the voice that you need when something goes wrong, we're right here. It's
Right.
like what the NAACP was when it really began back in like the 1920s or 30s, and they really first started. It was like we're right here. We're right here in the movement.
It was a very different organization when W.B. Du Bois started it.
Oh yes, it
Very
definitely
different
was.
organization when Thurgood Marshall was in it.
Hmm.
It's a different organization today.
Yeah, it had the character that Black Lives Matter is trying to carry now. And it's not saying anything negative. It just says some things changed that didn't, and again, it goes back. But that's what I love about this new generation that's coming forward. They are leaders and they are ready, and that's what Obama told them. That's our secret weapon.
Well, I think, part of what has energized the young people has been all the school shootings.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, like, they realize that they're not protected. It's not safe. And they see who's defending and protecting the people who are willing to expose them to losing their lives. That's what I think really first got them politicized. I think Trayvon Martin had a major impact on my youngest son's generation, because they were teenagers when that went down, and they were like, wait, what? It broke all illusions of fairness from the justice system.
But see, when you have, and I think for them, and I understand it because that's what it did for my sons. It was like a shield move from the eyes. You understand what I mean? Because I think that I will say this, I kind of feel like, especially one of my sons who was an athlete, I think he kind of felt untouchable or okay. You understand what I mean? As long as I do right, I'm okay. And then, also him becoming a parent, and then Trayvon Martin and all of this happening. And then, and then just thinking about his, family and Sandra Bland. You know what I mean? It's just too much that where I can understand that for me, 38%, I'm surprised it's not lower, because you're the one that I'm supposed to feel protected. You're supposed to be my safeguard. This is the purpose of your job. Let me ask you something. I've said this before, but I love Dick Gregory to the end. And I really bought books, listened to everything he said, and he said some of the most amazing things.
Yeah, I got to see him speak in New York when I was young.
And I love him. I mean, a little bit, he has his conspiracy theories, but I still think some things he says, like he was speaking, we're going to be real quick on this. He's speaking about what you were talking about police. And the young guys were saying what they thought. And Dick, he's gonna curse, he's gonna say shut the F up, let me tell you what I think, da. But his whole point was, he was saying that we need to start making sure, he was saying, you gotta remember something. He said, if that white man, like a white guy, he was saying some country, some little country town, killed 3 black men. They were angry because that prosecuting attorney didn't prosecute, so they didn't have enough evidence. And yet all the people black people too had a respect for him as a good man. And when this happened, the black people started to dislike it. So he said, no, this is the problem. He said that man got to go deal with, he got a daughter going to college, daughter in college, daughter going to college, and another child, wife, house note, car note, everything. And he coming up for re-election, and a bunch of ignorant ass white folks that's finna vote. Did you think he was gonna prosecute? You understand what I'm saying? He said, so you look at that situation, it ain't gonna work the way you wanted to go down. It don't make him a horrible person. Yeah, he made a decision, but here's what we got to do. I just thought it was so profound, because he was saying, what I want them to make it where, I'm betting that you love your family more than you hate us. Meaning, he said, I think we should, you got to give something to get something, young man. He was like, give them where their kids get to go to college free. You give them something. But here's the thing, license them. Just like you have to have a license to drive a truck, you have to have this. You get a license. And if you do something wrong, we take that license. That means you can't go nowhere to drive no truck. You can't, then we got some police officers leave one and go get hired somewhere else. And if we take your license, you're stripped of the insurance, the better insurance you have, and your kids' education, and you can't get the job doing that no more. He said, so sometimes you got to sit at the table and make those hard deals. You got to give something to get something. But I'm banking on them loving their family more than they hate us. So what do you think about that? Because I truly thought it was kind of profound, because what he was saying was we got to find a way to get rid of the bad cops. And it can be taken, if nothing else, like if you question the way he beat this guy up, and it's not the first time. Okay, well, we're going to suspend your license for a certain amount of time. Do something else. We spend it again, you get 3 suspensions, we take your license for good. You can't serve anymore.
There's a city in Ohio. I'm sorry I can't recall the name of the city right now. But there's a city in Ohio that after they killed those students at Kent State back in the 70s who were protesting the Vietnam War, and there were riots after that. And the police behaved so poorly that they fired every single cop. They fired every one of them.
Wow.
Then they rebuilt their police force from scratch. And many were not rehired. They cleaned house. And I want to do my research because, and come back and tell you what city that was, because he was around when George Floyd murder first occurred. This particular mayor was around a lot on the news talking about how it is achievable. But did he get reelected? No. But can he look back at what he achieved and be proud of it? Yeah.
Yes.
So it has to do with the right people or principle appearing at the right time, and what they're willing to do to create good. It's that simple. And so as strange as this sounds, I think Biden is the right person at the right time, and because he has the kind of character that makes him attractive. People are tired of dealing with big personalities.
They really are.
He's a heartfelt, caring. He has to be brilliant, or he wouldn't have been in politics surviving all this time. So I don't want to take away from his intellect.
He has to be respectable too, because whether it's said or not, a lot of those bills that got passed, Biden got them passed, and he had to be able to go over across the Democratic line. And for
Absolutely.
people to, so he had to have some kind of respect on that floor with everyone.
So, but I think that we have to start, when people are running for office, we have to start asking questions that never occurred to us before. Like in our own town, Los Angeles, Jackie Lacey, who's the current DA, there have been all these charges. There's been all these police brutality instances where she won't bring any of them up on charges. Now that broke my heart because I voted for her. I'm like, oh, a sister? Yeah, I'm putting her in there. I know I can trust her to do the right thing. She's not doing the right thing. So as Black people, we have to stop assuming, because I sure did.
Yeah.
I think we have a new set of questions now. Like, what is your position on police reform? When do you think? I mean, we have to start asking the hard questions. We have to stop just talking to each other and start showing up. When we get those newsletters that there's going to be a town hall and they're doing a political, we need to show up and ask the hard questions, because they fill those audiences with their supporters who are going to throw softballs at them. So we got to, and that's, I will give Black Lives Matter Los Angeles credit, because they will show up and ask the hard questions.
That's all I'm saying. So now, what do you think about the young guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, that killed those 2 men?
You know, one of my favorite musicals is South Pacific. And there's a song in South Pacific, you have to be taught. And he's been taught to hate. He's been taught that, his religion is white supremacy. And his mother drove him to Kenosha.
Wow.
He shot people up. His mother drove him home, probably patting him on the back. So I'm waiting for her to get up on some charges. I don't know how she's escaping this, but I was stunned when I learned his mother drove him. He couldn't even drive himself. He can't drive.
I think people saying it, the mother drove him back home. Then we need to be talking to mom because he is, and dad, because he's 17. And we need to find out what was put in his mind, not just from 45 or whoever else, but at home as well. Because if you did know and brought him there, you're just as guilty.
I'm saying handle it. She needs to be handled.
Handle it fast. But that's the thing. And then it's funny because everything, you're right with what you said about Biden. Real quick, everything sums itself up. I have to thank Sheena Lester because sometimes she used to have me, when I was at Morris Media, she used to have me look up the history of everything that's going on the day that I'm doing the show. I just realized in 1907, Denise, the United Postal Service was founded on this date. You know what I mean? In Seattle, Washington. So I say that because Trump done moved mailboxes, hid them, threw them under the thing, left the machines out in the rain to get rusty so they won't work. Everything it is to try to keep us from voting. And he, I think, as someone said, and I believe it, that he is so scared. He's a man. This is why we have to vote. When you push a man's back against the wall so far, and he knows what's out here for him if he's not reelected. He knows what's out here. So he has nothing to lose.
I told you before that Mueller has some sealed indictments just waiting for him to not be in office anymore. And they're sitting with the New York Attorney General's office.
Well, see, like Hillary Clinton said the other day, she told Biden, don't you concede? Because had she not conceded, it would have been a different situation because she could have tried to file a motion to take it somewhere else because she had the popularity vote. And there are things that were going on, even though, but she conceded to, but she told Biden, don't, whatever you do, be in it for the long haul. I
believe he will be because Kamala's there. And don't get it twisted. Jill ain't no punk.
No. But Kamala is odd to me. I feel great having her there because after what I saw yesterday, not just the speech, it was when she brought facts. I mean, like an attorney would, like day one, what you said about COVID. Right. And on this day, this is what you said. This day, this is what you said. Broke it down and you know what everybody started texting more because at first people said, "Oh, Piss got her." After this, I saw even more men saying, "I can't wait to see this debate." I got one last question for you. Nancy Pelosi was saying that she doesn't want Joe Biden to debate Trump. What do you think about that?
Tell me more. What do you mean?
Now, this could be a fake thing, but I saw it and I read it, the article. She was saying it's just so much Trump. He's so many lies, so much. She was feeling like there's no need to even try to.
She feels like he'd be playing into Trump's hands.
Yeah, she feels like that. The only debate she feels is needed is since it's already been set up. I'm thinking is that Kamala go ahead and debate Pence, and we leave it at that.
No, the presidential debate is in October.
And when is Kamala?
It probably follows that. Yeah, usually it's somewhere in between the second and the third one that the presidential debates are. But I mean, I was talking to. Actually, I have a really good friend from England, and he said to me the other day that he didn't think Joe could swing a punch like Trump. And I said, don't sleep on Joe. He's been debating for 40 years. He has lots of experience with debating, number one. Number two, when Trump says something stupid, I can see Joe just looking at him saying, "Come on, man," and laughing at him.
I mean, first of all,
The best thing he could do is to look at Trump and laugh at him like he's a idiot.
but that's what he is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people on Biden's side who's going to coach him, and he's going to be ready. And, you know, I mean, one of the things that I loved was when Obama was debating Romney that time, and he got CNN to fact check him right there during the debate. So what I would like set up is that during these debates, fact checking on the spot.
Yes.
Because if they say, if they make that part of the negotiation about how the debate goes, and his people back out of that point, then he won't have to debate him. He just simply goes out and says, look, we all know that Trump has an interesting relationship with the truth. So my team says we have to fact check him. We both have to be fact checked in the debate on the spot, and they won't do it. So we're not playing his game. Then I support there being no debate. But beyond that, without having a legitimate justification to not do it, I think he's obligated to do it. I think he's obligated to do it for the American people, because one of the things that Trump said about Biden yesterday was, he said, Joe Biden is weak, and he needs to show that he can stand up to this bully. So
Joe Biden ain't never been weak. Biden has never been weak.
It's how you define strength. They define strength as bullies. So Joe can't stand bullies, which is what I also told my friend. I said he knows how to take down a bully. He dealt with bullies since he was growing up because of his stuttering. He knows how to handle that and not let a bully get under his skin.
Gotcha. Yeah, he did. First of all, like you said, we talking about a guy that dealt with stuttering, went through a loss of a wife, daughter. You know what I mean? Things Trump would never understand. We talking about an emotional man with real feelings. So he's ready. He's strong, and like he said, and I think he's been ready for Trump.
I think he's been preparing for Trump his whole life and didn't even know it. That's why I said it's, you know, the universe works in its own rhythm.
I like that. You said you think he's been preparing for his whole life and didn't even know it.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
Deep. That's deep. That's deep. Now let me ask you this. I know I said one last question, but this will be our last one because we can't go past the March. The reason I say I can't not ask you one question about it is because I know you, the person that's been a stomper that's always out there. In the mix of everything. We started it, like we said, with Mahalia Jackson, My Soul Looked Back and Wonder How I Made It Over. And on this date, where they were at the march in Washington, just like Martin Luther King in 1963. Yet on this day, there is so much that they were bringing, so much weight the heart was carrying up to the podium, or just walking in that midst of it, because we're carrying Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd. You know what I mean? We just had a death, just like you said, Sunday. You get what I mean, Blake? And then a young boy just walked in and then killed two more people for just a peaceful protesting. What do you feel right now? And if you were in that mix, what would your thoughts be if you were given that mic to say something?
In DC?
Yeah. If you were just given that mic to say something, because I know you'd be there if COVID wasn't going on.
I planned on it.
Yeah.
What would I say? I would say, congratulations, we've won. We've already won. Now let's go out and reap the benefit of the victory. The benefit of the victory is find 5 people. Everybody listening today, find 5 people who don't want to vote and help them vote. Help them understand why it's important. Teach them who they are. Teach them what it means to be an American. Set the standard for what an American should be like. Don't avoid it. Don't be ashamed of it. Be that. Be that. Be what we've never lived up to. Be aspirational and inspire others. It's not enough that you show up if only you show up. I've never gone on a march without taking young people with me.
Wow.
You know, never. Even going all the way back to the 80s and 90s when we were doing clinic defense, when the evangelical crazies were coming and blowing up Planned Parenthood clinics. I was out there then, and I was taking young people with me then. So they understood that you have an obligation to do more than vote. You must engage with the opposition.
I love that.
And if you're lucky, because whenever I've gotten a chance to, I will grab one of the opposition and I'll make them have a dialogue with me, a human to human dialogue. And I will stick with them. I've had marches be over and me and these big, brawly, lumberjack looking white dudes are still talking until we can find common ground about women's reproductive rights. And we found some. I would not give up. And he said, I will never call you guys murderers again. Now I understand. There is an investment in keeping us against each other, and it's about money.
Mm-hmm.
People make money on hatred. People make money on division. We have to understand that. Kamala is right when she says we have more in common than we don't. But we have to be willing to have that dialogue. And I won't have dialogues on Facebook.
Yeah.
I won't do that. Because
it's not the same to me.
It's not. Well, first of all, I need to look in your face.
That's what I'm talking about.
I need to talk to you because on Facebook, you can say any old kind of crazy stuff. And there's only 1 or 2 people that have gotten me to engage like that. And that's because their response to me so disappointed me, I couldn't let it go. And then I stay engaged until we found common ground. So that's if I was in DC and given the privilege of having something to say, that is the spirit of what I would say.
Wow.
Thank you.
I love it too. I love that. So that's a final thought that of many. I'm not really giving her justice. There's so many. She's and you know what? It's like I watched the movie Blindside the other night, and the young guy was trying to understand his mom, and he said, you know, she's like an onion. You got to peel her back one. You know what I mean? And saying that to say, you know, that it's the more you do that, you know, with the onion, you're going to cry, but that means something. That means that there's depth there, and it's meaningful and filling. So that's why I asked, what would you have said? Because I know the young people needed to hear what you would say and gonna say. Guys, the importance of what we're doing is really for you to know the importance of voting.
Yeah.
You can't get around it. And if there's any way possible, we can make sure that you don't get around it. We're going to do so. We're going to tell you to get out and go exercise your right to vote. You can go on vote.org and pick your state, and it can tell you. But I go my IGS Nation. I tell you what state I went state to state, from alphabetical order, telling you your deadlines, what you need to do. And keep in mind, if you are going to try to mail that vote in, get on it. Get on it, because you got generals saying and he was talking about his medication and was still angry, but you got generals saying he literally had to get out in COVID and go pick his medicine up at a Walgreens because it came 2 weeks later. So it's already affecting the mail. But what I've seen, you guys, and what I saw today, which was amazing for the eye to see, is what I want to see on November 3rd. You can. It ain't about. It ain't just about us. It's about all of us. This me and her. It's about all of us. If you want this to change, because I trust, but I don't need Michelle Obama to tell me what my eye sees, what my eye can see. My eyes are wide open. And if you can see this and stomach it, then damn it, go ahead.
Right.
But for me, I can't take no more.
Right.
And when I can't take any more, I don't lay down. I push further and push harder. I push back. So I stand in that line, and I'm gonna stand in that line. If they told me I had to be there today, and I mean that, I have sleeping bag, everything I need, whatever we gotta have, I'd be there. So we know that you understand by looking at, just look at the playing field. And as she said, she's right though. I was driving and saw Black Lives Matter. Never thought I would see it. Remember what they first said about it. Even Hillary Clinton herself said, but she thought she was being politically correct. When someone first shouted Black Lives Matter, she said all lives matter.
So did Bernie.
Yeah.
So did Bernie.
Yes. So now people are really getting it. And when you have your sports, and this affects these people, these men's money, they get paid to play game per game. So she's right. I didn't even realize. I thought maybe we were winning, but we won. It's claiming the victory. She's right. There's knowing how to go get what's yours.
That's right.
That's it. So that's the way we want to end tonight. The victory is ours. Now, November 3rd, go pick up your prize.
That's right.
And then we'll all be able to hold that trophy up high. And that's equality and justice for all. We'll hold it up high, knowing that we set a new path. And I'm like, Trump, now what the hell do you have? Finish it for me, Denise.
To lose.
Really? So guys, we're going to end out with, I'm going to let you look. Since this March, I showed the March. I showed a little bit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm going to show you a little bit of Dr. Martin Luther King Sr., because this is the man that started it. This is where it started in 1963. We're at 2020. And yes, we have one. And we're going to claim our prize. And we're going to go out with a wonderful group of girls that call themselves PYTs. And they did this with Selena Evangeline. And what they did was got together and did Caravan of Love. And they did it in the Zoom. And I thought it was amazing. I don't know if you guys know the song Caravan of Love, but that song was the Isley Brothers. Denise, I know you know that song. Every woman, every man join the Caravan of Love. So we're going to leave out with those two things. I want to tell you that knowledge is power. It's your power. But love is everything. And until ain't no freedom until we all free.
That's right.
You understand? You don't get it. Even I don't care what color you are, white, whatever, you think you're free right now. But until we all are free, that means free to get in that car, free to drive, no matter what race I am, male, female, in my home, safe, free to be treated like I'm the human being I am. Because see, hate holds you down too. It's a chain. So until you leave, make sure we fix this and we're free, none of us are free. So like I say, your knowledge is your power. That's what I bring to you. And I give my heart with these people that I share with you. And that's everything. That's love. So I want y'all to have a wonderful evening. And remember something. You can kill a man, but you can't kill the dream. The dream is still living and strong. It's right here. So let's look at what's going on, what Dr. Martin Luther King had to say, and we're going to leave it.
They say life is what you make it. Well, I'm a legend in the making. I know just what I'm made of. They say life is what you make it. Well, I'm a legend in the making. I know just what I'm made of.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. And every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with this faith. We will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
They say I did what you make me. I'm not what you really make me. I'm not just what I'm waiting.
Are you ready for the time of your life? It's time to stand up and fight. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Hand in hand, we'll take good care of them to the motherland. One by one, we're gonna stand with the pride. What that can't be denied. Stand up, stand up, stand up. From the highest mountain, oh, and valley low, we'll join together with hearts of gold. Now the children of the world can see there's a better way for us to be. The place where mankind was born is so neglected and torn apart. Every woman, every man, join the caravan of love. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Everybody take a stand. Join the caravan of love. I'm your sister. I'm your sister, don't you know? I'm your sister. I'm your sister, don't you know it? We'll be living in a world of peace, in a day when everyone is free. let your love flow from your heart. Every woman, every man, join the caravan of love. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Everybody take a stand. Join the caravan of love. Come on. Are you ready for the time of your life? Are you ready? Oh, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for the time of your life? Are you ready? Come on, yeah. Are you ready? Every woman, every man, join the caravan. Stand up, stand up. Everybody take a stand. Join the caravan of love. Stand up, stand up. Come on, man. Every woman, every man, join the caravan of love. Stand up, stand up. Everybody take a stand. Join the caravan of love. Stand up, stand up. Every woman, every man, join the caravan of love. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Everybody take a stand. Join the caravan of love. Stand up, stand up, stand up.
They say what you make it. I'm a margin in the making. I know just what I'm waiting. They say what you make it. I'm a margin in the making. I know just what I'm
Vote.
They say life is what you make it. I'm a legend in the